The following is a special presentation of the City of Denton and DTV.
Hey Larry, it's time to start the documentary. We got a lot of memories to share with you. Hey Larry, something out of the ordinary. Talk about the challenges and all the good times too. We're gonna learn a lot about how it was done on Library Larry's Big Day.
That's it. The show started when Welena came to me one day and said, "What would you do with 30 minutes of airtime? If you had 30 minutes on TV, what would you do with it?" And I said, "I don't know." So I started thinking, well, I would want it to be sort of like a variety show, like, you know, with elements of hee-haw and laugh-in and Sesame Street and all these things that I grew up with.
And the creative juices began to flow, and these were long-term employees who were good at their jobs, but honestly had more to offer than their jobs were allowing at that time.
We had a person in circulation named Casey, and she had actually talked about working at DTV and how much she had enjoyed it before she came to the library. And so we enlisted her, and we went to a program room, got out a camera, got out some puppets, started filming.
And action!
Oh, hello there, boys and girls. I was just waking up. What a great day this is going to be. Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up, you guys!
And it looked awful.
We thought we could just maybe film a story time or just roll for half an hour.
And one thing too, I was thinking while looking at it, it'd be cooler if the giraffes was a little taller.
We really honestly believed that the four of us could just grab a camera and go out and film stuff.
But we quickly realized that that was not a good idea. DTV came into the picture. The partnership with them is the reason that I'm sitting here now talking about how successful this show was.
The scope of the project was so much bigger than what we had thought it would be. The equipment they had, the sound quality that we needed, the things that they thought of that we had never even envisioned.
Would y'all want to bear with us for just a little experiment here to see if we can make this look a little bit more nighttime-y?
I don't know, is it Justin's idea?
I don't want to tell y'all it's Justin's idea because then I know you're not going to want to do it.
Well, writing the show was an incredible challenge, especially at first. I didn't know the characters very well. I didn't know exactly where they would take us. On our first episode, we made a big mistake. We decided to let Mr. Chompers talk about sliding down the fire pole. So we filmed the library sequence first before we went out to the fire station.
I want to slide down the pole. I want to slide.
And so Mr. Chompers had already talked about this. We'd already captured it on film. Then we get to the fire station. There's no pole.
I want to slide down the pole.
Mr. Chompers, we don't need a pole at this station because the firefighters live downstairs.
No pole.
That defined his character from then on, so that he always wanted to do something that he couldn't, but always got to do something cool.
You mean you're putting one of Chuck's songs into the air?
I think you mean on the air, Mr. Chompers. And we're gonna let you announce it. When I give you the signal, you'll be on the air.
Wow!
Okay, here we go.
This next song goes out to my very best friend in the world, Mr. Chuck. Here's one of his songs. Yay!
So I think I'll call you Hannah. It's a beautiful name for a beautiful girl.
Mr. Chompers, you're the best.
We learned that we needed to do visits beforehand so that we could actually know what was there and what to write in the script.
Big machines separate out the different kinds of materials. Once they're separated...
And writing children's educational television is a little different. There's a fair amount of just expository writing.
And substations are very dangerous places for puppets or for anyone else. You could get hurt badly or worse, so you have to stay very far away.
We'll stay far away.
You're going to these places like these city departments, there's a lot of very complex things that you're having to explain to very young children.
Last year, they put up over 3,200 signs. Stop signs, street signs, speed limit signs, and lots more get made right here.
How does your water get clean? How do police detectives do their job? How does the municipal court system work? That's not easily explained to adults sometimes.
Were you riding in the car with Mr. Chuck on the morning of August 1st?
Hey! I was riding with Chuck!
And was Mr. Chuck driving too fast?
I don't know. He was driving. Chuck drives the car.
Isn't it true Chuck is guilty?
Objection, Your Honor. Leading the witness.
Sustained. Order in the court.
So getting those basics and getting the facts right, it required a lot of research. It required a lot of work. You know, with something like this, it's more character-driven.
I have an earache. Can you make it feel better?
That's what I'm here for, Larry.
So as I went along as a writer and got to know these characters better, I let them kind of take us where they were going. So it was a very character-driven show after a while.
The time commitment for a show was more than we thought it was going to be at the beginning. We really thought that we could film a 30-minute show in 30 minutes. We didn't realize what it actually took. So when you take people out of the building, that means other people have to cover your jobs. You have to figure out desk schedules and things like that. It really became the staff supporting us to do this.
All of the library was involved. And a lot of the librarians ended up reading books.
I think it's a perfect book for your visit today, Larry. It's called Maisie Goes to the Museum by Lucy Cousins.
We're in jokes.
I was kind of hungry, so I came to this wall to find something to eat.
What? You're trying to eat the brick wall?
No, silly. I came to pick nuts off the wall, but I don't see any.
What kind of nuts would you eat off a brick wall?
Walnuts.
Just people who worked here. Everybody pulled together whenever we were filming or whenever we were putting this together. It was a total group effort through the library.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Stacy.
How are y'all doing?
I was the first reader for the very first episode of Library Larry, and so it's my claim to fame.
What book did you bring us today, Stacy?
I found the perfect book, and so I would come in and read one of the books at the beginning of the program. I found that to be a lot of fun because it's similar to what I do for my job at Storytime. I read the books to the kids. So on filming day, we never quite knew what was going to happen. I was ready to read, I was ready to tell a joke.
We're never going to get through this. All right.
You might have to hold note cards for someone. You might have to come in and hold one of the puppets. I know that Mr. Chompers and Mr. Chuck were in the same scene. We needed somebody to be stunt Chompers.
I want to be on the radio.
I'd like to be on the radio too, Mr. Chompers, but I don't think it'll ever happen. My main role on the show, of course, was to be Mr. Chompers, but in most of the episodes, I also got to appear as myself. But yes, I was Mr. Chompers, yes.
Rebecca!
Are you ready for a... Working on the show was a lot of fun. It was great showcasing the library in a different way. Filming it makes you nervous. I would read books. It's what I do every day, every week. I read story time, I read books, but it's just different having the camera right there.
It's something different from the same old routine that I do in circulation.
Hey, Heather, what's up?
Oh, hey, Robert. I just heard a train go by, so I'm trying to find out where it went.
And how are you going to do that with a magnifying glass?
Well, I'm trying to see if it left some tracks.
Tracks? What kind of tracks?
Railroad tracks.
And so when opportunity came for me to be able to do something that was fun, that was for the children as well, I didn't hesitate to join and be part of it.
I'm really glad that I was able to be available to be the support, because they needed a stunt puppet. You know, they needed someone to run lines.
It's okay. We were given the opportunity to really explore an idea.
Usually with government, a lot of projects or decisions kind of go from top down instead of from bottom up.
There's a lot of creative minds in the library. Ideas are encouraged to grow from any level. And this particular idea of Library Larry took root and captured the imagination of many employees, and the idea grew and became a benchmark of library services.
I just think it showed how capable our staff is of producing something like this, writing a show like this, and just in general keeping it going, because it can be really hard because we have so many other responsibilities.
And Dana, you gotta get into the boogieing more. You gotta ham it up. You've been so good, like you can't skimp on the boogieing.
We had a lot of good people helping us with a lot of great talent, but getting each episode done each time was a labor of love.
We can just do Chompers one line first, and then go through the whole scene. I'll have the live, Justin will have the two shot, and then the ending.
Something I won't miss were all the bodily contortions we had to get into to get a shot, just to hide the body, to get the puppet in this scene, but you don't want your body in the scene, obviously.
All the puppets are going to have to be in the same, the killer are all going to have to be in the same vicinity.
I remember Apogee Stadium.
I wanted to be on the football team.
I know you did. Crouching down underneath those seats, having the puppets above the seats, and all of us being crammed together. You don't see that. It's just kind of how things go behind the scenes. Do that show after show for 45 episodes over 5 years. It was very, very physically demanding. And what I think is really fantastic and really rare is how committed everyone was for so long.
I think we all just fed off of each other. We enjoyed doing it.
How does a gymnast read a book? I don't know. She flips through it.
People can be very silly when you give them a silly joke. One of the silliest people, probably the silliest person, was Casey Barnett.
Two bees or not two bees? That is the question. 1, 2 bees. That's the answer.
What I think Casey really brought to the show was just a willingness to try anything.
Hey Casey, what in the world are you doing?
Oh, I just took a break from work to practice some sports.
Well, you seem to be doing something there, but I'm not sure what.
Well, I'm practicing my favorite sport, but something about it just feels wrong.
I think you're right about that. What sport are you practicing?
Baseball, obviously. Why else would I be swinging a bat?
My favorite was the chicken drops. The DTV guys did a really great job with the editing because it's very melodramatic.
I'm afraid we'll have to call in our very best specialist.
Oh, chicken specialist. What is it?
You have a severe inflammation of the anterior chicken gland. There's only one cure for it.
What? Only one cure? What is it?
Chicken drops. Come on, everybody in there.
And then all of a sudden you just drop chickens on her, and she didn't cut up at all.
So it's like having a great comic actress, you know, in your troupe, and you write for her. Really? But she ended up moving to Colorado to take a library job up there. I knew that we had lost a huge talent and that we lost a huge part of just the soul of the show.
Can you give me the definition of the word aquatic? Can you use the word recreation in a sentence?
Can you tell me what the word reprocess means?
One of the craziest things that we came up with was Puppet on the Street, and it really literally was us meeting on the courthouse lawn and just grabbing whoever was out there. You never knew who you were going to get. And it was always different and it was always fun.
I like to read a good form of transportation before bed. I don't think that's quite right. Can you try again? My car is a good form of transportation.
Ooh, that's an excellent sentence. Thank you.
I remember the first Puppet on the Street. It was incredibly cold. We were trying to find someone who was also outside. It wasn't happening. I ended up doing the first one.
No, I don't think that's right.
And then we had one of my former professors from UNT came out of the coffee shop and we kind of roped him into doing it too. We had no idea what we were doing.
The cool thing about Puppet on the Street, it's a snapshot in time for, you know, the square, and that's the centerpiece of Denton.
It was one of the silliest things that I was involved in as an actor, and it really created kind of an atmosphere of being silly and being wrong is okay, and you can really be yourself, and that's great for kids to see.
Let's buggy on back to the library.
One of the fun things about Library Larry is once you finished reading the stories and telling the jokes is we got to boogie on out of there.
Let's boogie on out of here. Let's boogie on out of here.
What you probably didn't know is there was no music. We were boogieing to nothing.
Let's boogie on out of here.
They would add the music in afterwards.
And cut.
So it was a little bit like this. Yes.
We thought it was important to have children do the act of writing. That's another early literacy practice that we wanted to incorporate. So we set up a segment called Chompers Mailroom.
Mr. Chompers Mailroom. Hi everyone, I'm Mr. Chompers, and it's time to read the mail.
And I'm Miss Hildreth, librarian. Today, our letter is from Anastasia, who is 6 years old, and she writes, "Dear Mr. Chompers, my love to you." Isn't that sweet, Mr. Chompers?
That's very happy.
We encourage children to actually write mail, to actually write, and then actually put it in a mailbox and send it to us, which is a very retro thing to do.
If you'd like to send Mr. Chompers some mail, send it to Mr. Chompers, care of North Branch Library, or you can put your mail into any one of the handy Mr. Chompers mailboxes that looks like this. At any one of the Denton Public Library locations. Chompers Mailroom was really interactive, and we wanted kids to write in, send us drawings, do all sorts of things so that they could participate within the show.
She sent me a video?
She sure did. Let's watch it.
Oh, love you forever.
Who do you love?
Mr. Chompers.
And what do you have for Mr. Chompers?
A flower with, in a note.
You drew a picture of a flower in the sun and some grass and the sky, and you're gonna mail it to him today, huh? All right, tell Mr. Chompers you love him.
I love you,
And
Mr.
it was just a
Chompers.
great segment, as Mr. Chompers was the favorite of every kid who watched the show.
I want to go down the drain.
Well, Mr. Chompers, if you went down the drain, you would end up with lots of dirty things, like poop.
Poop?
Everybody knows that one person who's the life of the party, who you kind of want to just hang out with, who's very silly. We had that with Mr. Chompers.
Did you hear the one about the elephant who missed his airplane ride? He was late because he couldn't find his trunk.
Chompers' character is kind of the lovable, slightly clueless, kind of a dreamy character.
Are we going over the rainbow to Unicorn Land, where I can ride a unicorn and maybe feed it some apples and have a picnic in the puffy clouds?
That sort of dreaminess kids can relate to.
Even in these characters that you think you know so well, there's always a little something that can be hidden in there that they know something about or they know everything about. And Mr. Chompers brought that out in the astronomy episode.
Do any of you know about Saturn's rings?
Oh, yeah! The Saturnian ring system consists mostly of ice that makes the white parts, and the different colors are rocks and other carbon compounds that may be the remnants of an ancient moon or other satellite that orbited Saturn, or a part of Saturn itself, when it was hit by a passing asteroid or other celestial body.
Wow. How'd you know so much about Saturn, Mr. Chompers?
Yay!
Everybody has that inside them, and kids will occasionally show that they've been focusing on something and they know a lot about it and they can't wait to tell you about it. And when they do, you don't maybe realize that they're so passionate or have that much interest, and when it comes out, you're just like, where did that come from?
Big day fun again. Gonna have some big day fun again. Gonna have some big adventures with my friends. Ready for some big day fun again.
Well, we wrote original music for the program, the intro song.
Hey Larry, he lives in the library. He's got a lot of adventures to share with you. Hey Larry, he's got some friends in the library. Emmy Lou Dickenson and Mr. Chompers too. They're gonna read a lot of books and have some fun. It's Library Larry's big day.
And various songs were written mostly by Carol, but could be performed by myself or him.
I got the blues 'cause I can't rhyme, even though I try it all the day long. I got the blues from my head down to my feet. I want my words to sound the same, but they never come out right, even though I try to rhyme every day and
night,
evening. You know I feel so bad. I got these rhyming blues and I feel so down and
sad,
unhappy.
Well, Carol and I started playing music together, and then Carol came up with this this new project, and he needed a basis for recording material. I was working on the Big Tiny, and I was always looking for something very interesting, and it sounded like a lot of fun.
Where do you want to go and play? Senior Recreation Center, where you can climb a big wall. Or the water park, where it's lots of fun and you can have a ball.
The intro stuff, which was easier for Nathan to play on cello, is missing.
It was great working with Fritz because, you know, you can just bring him an idea and say, hey, I want this many beats per minute on a click track. I want these kind of instruments.
If you want to be president, first you have to get elected. A lot of people need to vote for you. That's what they'll have to do if you want to be president.
When we were really able to start hitting our stride and putting in a lot of original music, it added a lot of production value to the show.
I got to connect with my children through Carol bringing this project to me, and I saw things I wouldn't have otherwise got to experience through my children as well. And that's, I mean, that's just priceless, you know, that's golden.
Wouldn't it be cool to be the president?
We had a live component to the show, so we called it Library Larry Live.
Happy fish and gripey fish.
Hey, Miss Hildreth, what does gripey mean?
Elementary schools, daycare. Sometimes we do multiple shows a day. Like I remember one time we did 6 shows in one day. We did kindergarten through 5th grade and 6 shows in a row. There's really something great about having that intimate contact with an audience, which you really don't get when you're filming.
You don't think I'm a real bull?
The natural thing was to put the shows on their database so that teachers could have access to it anytime they wanted to. But there was really no incentive for the teachers to look at them, use them in their classroom or anything like that. And that's when we started putting together the TEKS, Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills, which we included vocabulary words that had definitions, that had the books, what lessons to put it with, and that was for K through 3rd grade. We were really hoping by putting all of this information together for the teachers that they would incorporate it into their curriculum and the kids would become more familiar with their community. And it was a great way to get Library Larry out there to our target audience.
So we did have quite a few kids coming from the schools and saying they recognized you that way. I saw Library Larry at the school and I saw you read, which again was nice because we weren't able to go into that school, yet we were able to bring the library to them.
It was a thing of pride. This is our library that's going above and beyond, giving kids a reason to want to come to the library, a reason to want to read. It was a unique way of getting information out to the city.
The library it's changed over the years, It's not just a bunch of books. We have to be this thing that moves out into the world.
As we all kind of rose together and figured this out, we thought, this show is pretty great. It's very high quality. Why don't we try to win some awards? And we started winning them. Our first year we won a TOTOA award for special audiences. We got 1st place in the state. Huge deal. And the judges' comments were, hey, this is PBS quality. The characters are great. All the things that we wanted to hear that we'd worked so hard to achieve. They're telling us, hey, you did it, and this is why you got these awards. And we went on to win 10 different awards from 6 different organizations, including 1st place in the nation for regularly scheduled programming.
The Denton Record Chronicle actually did a piece on Library Larry and called us Denton's Sesame Street, and really that's like the highest compliment that you could possibly get, I think.
And it really helped us believe that what we were doing was great, and then it was helping the kids in our community learn more about the world around them.
We tried to hit every single city department. We went to police, fire, airport, DME, wastewater,
municipal court, the animal shelter, streets department, Waterworks Park.
I think the most shocking was the George W. Bush Presidential Library, because just on a whim we were like, wouldn't it be cool if we did that? And they said yes.
Now here's a room I know you'll like. This is a full-size replica of the Oval Office, which is the President's office in the White House. This is exactly how it looked during President Bush's administration.
And I was honestly shocked that people were so willing to respond to us and say, yes, we want you to come.
We got to go to the top of the courthouse, the campus theater, the Denton Record Chronicle, and my personal favorite, our own private concert with Brave Combo.
This is our version of the song Chopsticks. All right, hit it, Carl.
We went 6 stories down into the basement of FEMA where they have their command center. These are just not places that everybody gets to go. And so it was just phenomenal to have that access. We got to go to all these places and see how they were. And we got to go behind the scenes. So not just kids, but parents got to see these places that they would never get to see otherwise.
So we really kind of covered a lot of what the city does, which was the intention. We wanted children to get to know their community.
And the great thing is that we showed our own city. It's not just like, hey, let's go see a fire department. We're gonna go see our fire department. And to be able to show people, hey, it's not just your street level stuff where you see people. There's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes that make a community work. So the writing was a great part of it that I miss a lot. Just being able to see what's gonna happen next. You know, typing for what's around the corner. What's Mr. Chompers gonna say? You know he's gonna do something crazy or silly.
The camaraderie and getting together and creating something each time. And just actually reading the script for the first time was always, because it would just be like, wow, I can't believe Carol wrote that. That's really brilliant, you know, funny stuff.
Knowing that you touched somebody's life and you gave them the knowledge that they didn't have before. We always had this kid come in. He came in every week. And every week he would come up to me and go, Miss Holdwith, Miss Holdwith, Miss Holdwith, I found a book. Do you think Mr. Chompers will like it? Oh yeah, I think Mr. Chompers will really like that book.
I think we did something really positive for our community. I think we had a great impact on it. We did a lot, I think professionally and personally it was satisfying. And we had a lot of fun.
Wow, that was really neat. And I learned a lot. What did you two learn?
I learned that Chuck thinks I'm lovable and dreamy. Oh, and slightly clueless. Yay! What does clueless mean?
I learned that not everyone loves language as much as I do. I can't believe how many people didn't know the definitions to our mystery words. It's hard to be such an ardent logophile.
Well, I'm not sure what you just said, but I learned we had lots of fun and a lot of people worked really hard behind the scenes to put our show together.
That is so true.
Oh yeah, lots of big fun, lots of big days.
It was fun being the star of a TV show. Now I just want to be a regular bull with floppy horns and fake fur like everybody else.
You mean we were on TV the whole time? Is that why there were always fuzzy microphones? I miss the fuzzy microphones.
I miss working on the show. After I get my PhD in comparative literature, my goal is to write a Broadway musical. Emmy Lou, The Tale of the Perspicacious Pig.
Since we started preschool, Mr. Chompers has been eating lots of glue. He said it tastes like candy.
I like glue. It tastes like candy, sort of.